Hello, everybody. Welcome into another episode of Good. Oh wait, Good Morning Nasdaq. Let's redo that. Restart.
A little late in the day for that.
Welcome in, traders, to another episode of Wine Wednesday here with your three favorite hosts, myself, Dom, and Huddie. Yes, we had Good Morning Nasdaq earlier today, but now it is 7:11 p.m. Eastern or 4:11 p.m. Eastern for you West Coasters like myself. It is Wine Wednesday time, so we're here with our favorite drinks, which we'll discuss in a second. And then, as always, feel free to put in your questions, comments, concerns. Although, as Dom says, we don't address concerns.
We don't do concerns.
And we don't do concerns.
We don't address them.
This
we
is
don't
our
do
time
them.
to chat, discuss. We could talk about trading. You could talk about anything else. We could talk about, I don't know, what our favorite animal is. We're open to pretty much anything.
What is your favorite animal, Huddie?
There you go. Kick it off.
Wow. I haven't been asked that in a while.
It's a tough question.
It's like a high school dating question. Like, what's your favorite color?
It's an icebreaker.
Yeah. Oh, blue? Mine too. We're meant to be together.
Well, mine is blue, so.
Yeah, mine's blue.
What's your favorite animal?
Me?
Yeah, of
I
course.
didn't know you were going to ask. I guess I don't know what purpose. A lion, maybe? Because I just like what they represent. And I always used to say I'm a lion in the grass.
What do they represent, Dom? Like pride or
I don't know. They're like
royalty?
the kings, but they're quiet about it. They're kind of on the outsides, like in the jungle, like, but like if someone messes with them, they're all like, you were frozen.
You were frozen.
I was frozen.
I don't know. Oh, it looks like we were frozen too.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll see if it gets kicked back in right now.
All right, I think we're back.
I like lions.
Okay. I like silverback gorillas.
They're crazy, dude.
Lovely answer, Huddie. And why is that?
Because they're badass. I mean, what else do you want to know? They're silverback gorillas. They could break you with their thumbs.
That's true. Well, so could lions. Lions can snap your face with a step of their foot.
All right, Kyle, what's your animal?
Oh, gosh. Well, when you guys do lions and silverback gorillas, like my answer is going to just look disgusting or embarrassing. My favorite animal has always been an owl.
An owl.
Yeah, pretty boring.
Boo.
Boo, they can't crush your skull.
Well,
But yes, an owl. I like owls.
you might as well tell us why.
I don't know why. They're like seen as smart. They're seen as like also like quiet and like just chilling. They're relaxed, They're wise. They move their head 360 degrees, which I thought was freaky but also sick.
They do
Like
that.
watch them just like full on robot it, just pretty cool. And I've
do
heard
like
they
how
actually
their
are
heads
kind of
can,
like
like,
cool pets.
spin.
What's up?
I like how their heads can spin on a swivel.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty
So,
sick.
and I've seen videos of them being kind of like cool pets. So, anyways, what are we drinking? I'll start. We have 2 left, ladies and gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
This is the second to last one before we're out of Trulies and then back to the wine.
Do you not drink on weekends?
Only if I'm with friends. I don't like just pop a Truly on the couch randomly. But I haven't had friends over in a while because we've either gone out with friends or Kelly and I have been traveling. We haven't had like.
What do you do when San Diego State plays?
I'm physically at the game.
Oh, so you buy drinks there?
Yeah, or I get free drinks there. But yeah,
Whoa, flex.
we got a little
Whoa.
special bar space. Yeah, free drinks. But yeah, so in
pretty
terms of
impressive.
Trulies at the house ran on a random day. It's been a few weeks since then. So
Nice. I've been doing a 4-pack of Stella every week these days. So that's my MO.
nice.
I'm over the wine.
What are you drinking? Beer?
It's a
Yeah.
can drink Wednesday now. That's what we're
I
on
just
to.
have water. I didn't even make a tea. I was giving a bath to my daughter, and then I was like, "Oh my goodness gracious, it's 7:00," and so I just grabbed my water and I ran in here. I said, "I got to see my friends."
And here you are. Very nice. All right. Well, chat, feel free to put in your questions here. We got Chris, Baja, AOCJ, it's Parker, Wayne, William, or as we like to call Fran, Ramon, Nikita, Mark, Drummer Max. We got everybody in here. So welcome in. Oh my god, can you guys hear that?
Not really.
No,
I heard something though.
it's funny. So my Kelly got our cats buttons so they could speak to us, and one of them's
Oh.
totally hitting the play button, and probably wants to play. So we'll do that.
How do you
after
play with a
Wednesday.
cat?
You don't.
Plenty of little toys. They got little scratchers and. Fake
Like, how
mice.
do you play fetch with them? Like,
No, so I made a joke about it and it stuck because it's true. Every cat game consists of can I hit it? That's what they call it. Like, can I hit it? Like, if we have a laser pointer, it's can they hit the laser pointer? It's if I have a stick, it's like can they hit the stick? If I have a little like furry little fake bird, it's like can I hit the bird? That's all the game is can my paw hit said toy that we have for them. That's what we play. So
it sounds fun.
yeah, to them it is. To me, it's sometimes fun, not really, but they're cute. So, and they give me good stock picks sometimes.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
feel like you're usually mad at them for their stock picks and the buttons they want to click.
For all the keyboards they want to press when I'm trying to type,
Yeah.
Usual.
I have a truth to speak about this week.
Okay, let's hear it.
And this is kind of why we started Why Wednesday in the first place, to speak our truths, right, boys?
Yes,
God, I've been sucking this week.
you've been sucking this week. Okay,
That's what you have to share.
please, dude, please tell
Yeah.
us why.
Well, I'm doing fine dollar wise, like monetarily. I'm up like 8K, 7K for the week. So
Okay.
it's not great. It's not good. It's somewhere in the middle of those two numbers. But the problem is it should be like 25,000. And I just keep not following the goddamn plan. And I got no one else to blame but myself. And
I agree.
It's just frustrating as hell. I always say like it's not taking a loss that upsets me, and a loss should never upset anyone. Like losses happen, but it's like when you don't follow your plan and you should win, and you have like a loss or break even. Even break even's horrible when you should have a win. Like that irks me the most. I've been punishing myself every day. I do 100 push-ups every time I break my plan, and I've been doing it every single freaking day.
Dang, you're gonna be jacked after that.
Well, I took that after Laptop Legend. He's inspired me.
I was about to say you're gonna be. I was gonna say you're gonna be just like him doing all the burpees, but push-ups.
I'm not gonna be jacked. It's gonna stop tomorrow.
For sure.
I can see Huddie being like, "Oh, I broke rule day. 100 push-ups does 10." Like, screw this.
That is
I'm
something
over
I
this.
would do. That's enough.
But I feel your frustration, Huddie, because I feel like lately, and it's different depending on how I'm feeling on the week, on the month, on the year, whatever. But certainly, just as much as a loss, missing out on profits is also equally as frustrating. And as teachers, I think Dom, Huddie, and I can all agree that like a very common question is along the lines of, how do I let my winners run? Or I sold and it went higher. Like how do I deal with that? Because like being right is already exciting enough, but then to be right and then not make as much as you should have, could have, would have, can bring a sense of pain, even though you should feel success or not pain or some kind of joy. But I say that because I too have this similar feeling this week, where this week has actually been quite a good week. It's closing out my month quite well. But yeah, when I look at some of the things I missed or some of the things I could have done better, it's like, man, my best week of the month, or my best day of the month could have been, I think it was yesterday. No, it was Monday, but I screwed up horribly. And then even today I missed I didn't fill on a certain play on SYTA. And that cost me like $9,000. And so between like the plays missed on Monday and then $9,000 today, it's like, yeah, we're talking somewhere upwards of like $30,000 plus missed on the table, and it's okay. There's tons of opportunities that will come around the corner. So it's not like, I'm failing or, oh no, the world's ending, but it's just like, it feels like a loss because it's like, it's money you don't have. It's money you gave away even though you never had it in the first place. It's a funny mental game that happens to our brains like that.
It definitely feels like my money that I don't have.
Right.
Yeah, I've been doing fine this week.
Fuck you.
Tell us all about it, Dom.
There's nothing to tell. I just think for most of this year now, just been following rules. And I don't know, I feel like it hasn't been a crazy hot market or anything. But I keep finding a way to be green every day. Even someday, like, whereas when you're like struggling and you're mentally just not in it for like a month or two of trading, it's like it feels hard to be green, and like every day you find a way to be down like like down 500, down 700, even just down like $1. You're like, yeah, it feels like it's a freaking journey to get green every day. And most days like this month, I think I have like 3 red days, and it's like it just feels like I don't know, things are working,
You're on a roll.
and I'm picking my spots good. I think I've my gauge, my radar, whatever it is pretty good on what I should be avoiding, what I shouldn't. Um, and that was the big thing going into this year I wanted to do. And when we did our recap, I did with Kyle, was just about like being there on the plays I need to be there every week. Like kind of what you guys are talking about, missing some. Like I just don't want to do that anymore because those are the worst. Uh, those ones hurt me the most is when I see something work out really well and I know I should have been in it. And I don't want that to happen anymore. So I'm trying to just get myself to just, be a systematic discretionary trader from the perspective that if it fits criteria, I just click the button. And it's going well. Feel good so far. A lot of year left. A lot of week left. We got 2 more days left. But you guys are funny.
All right. This is good, guys. Put your questions and comments in the chat. We'll get to them once we're done talking about silverback gorillas. I actually see a couple right now that we can kind of respond to. Dom, you bought ATCH today. Where did you sell, and how many shares did you have?
1 second. What did I do today?
You bought ATCH with the amount of shares, and we're wondering where you sold and how many shares you had.
I had 1,000 shares from 430, and I sold at an average of 620.
Is there a reason you didn't have 10,000 shares?
I would never have 10,000 shares.
Did you forget a zero?
No,
That's
that's
fine.
what I had.
That's what you had. That's what you got. What'd you sell it?
It's 2K profit, right? 1900 somewhere in there.
620.
That's pretty good because it went back to 3. So good job.
It did go all the way back
Huge
down.
round trip. Absolutely massive.
Nice. That's that saying, like, always sell into strength. Right?
That's what my grandpa taught me. Selling the strength, son. I'm like, okay.
Buy low, sell high.
Yeah.
All right. Dom, another question for you from Mark R. Mark R, where are you from? Wondering where you're from. Does the spread play any part of playing a reversal? I had ATCH as top watch and didn't play it because the spread threw me off. And of course, it worked lovely. I'll tell you what, I can tell you right now that Dom doesn't have any information on spread, but maybe you can answer it more.
Does it play any part? Yeah, that's kind of why I didn't have a little bit more. I would never buy 10,000 shares of that at the current stakes I'm playing. I'd try to risk 5 to 600 right now. And 1,000 shares was a little less than that, but it was more of expecting that if it didn't work and it got a little bit wonky, yeah, it was like 10 to 12 cent spread at times. So if it immediately doesn't go straight up and there's starting to be some more volume and a tighter spread, then it's going to be hard to sit in. So I did account for that a bit, but for the most part, I'm usually buying it before any real volume comes in. So I kind of expect the spread to be a little wonky. And it's the quality of the opportunity. If it's a lower tier opportunity, then that might keep me from trading altogether. But there's a lot of range on like there was on ATCH. I'm okay with it being 10-cent spread, on a $3 or $4 stock, or what was it, $4 or $5?
I'll kind of chime in on this one too. I mean, I think what kind of helped ATCH, obviously you have criteria for the day before and how much volume it needs to sustain in order to be a reversal in the first place. It's got to have some type of liquidity so it can't drop off the earth. But even this wide spread, whatever that is, like that kind of helps the case because a lot of your first screen days are you want this like quick pop where all the shorts are coming in and they're covering from the day before or the 2 days before. And when you have kind of like a wonky spread, like that's what's going to lead to halts. That's what's going to lead to really quick price action. So in some cases, it can definitely help you, especially on these like reversal type of plays.
Yeah, it can help there.
Can also hurt.
Yeah, if it doesn't go and it doesn't get picked up, and a lot of times when you're buying these backside bounces, they never bounce. So you're just kind of in a stock that's fading, and the wider spread can definitely make it more uncomfortable in terms of following your plan.
Yeah. The one thing I'll add too is just if you feel like that, Mark, that maybe that happens more times than not, or that starts to happen more times than not, just account for the spread in your trade plan, right? Like if the spread scares you, but it's a first greenie that you want to take, reduce your risk to the point where you like just play it. Excuse me, play it on the safe side. Like instead of if you're risking say 40 or 50 cents, just say I'm going to risk 70. Just add a little 20-cent buffer to the risk. So then you're smaller size and are inevitably smaller size, and then you're more comfortable with something maybe more spready or more wacky or choppy, etc.
Yeah, and that's what I pretty much did, was just take a little bit less size to account, because I knew if I got stopped out, it's probably going to be another 20 cents before I got out.
There you go. There you have it.
All right. Next question. This is for all of us. How much P&L in terms of R is reasonable R to expect at the end of an average green month? I'll kind of answer it first. I think it's really dependent on what setups you trade. It's like really hard to give like a blanket statement to this.
Kyle, do you have your spreadsheet in front of you somewhere? We'll continue talking, Kyle, Huddie, but I want to ask Kyle a question after.
I'm risking about like 6K per day ish. I mean, it depends, right? And I make about 30K per month. So 5R would be my average answer right now. But I really think that still depends on like your strategy that you're trading. Like some strategies will not do that. Some strategies will do that. Some strategies will do much better. Some strategies will do much worse. So it's really hard to give you a blanket statement. Maybe there is like an optimal answer. It's kind of hard for me to answer.
Do you have your spreadsheet? How do you just divide your overall P&L divided by average loss?
Yeah, but that's not like what is reasonable. That's just like right now. Like we
do that number, add it to 5 months, and divide by 5.
That's a lot of work. You can do that.
There's no way your number is like 6.
It's pretty good.
That's horrible.
I like my 6R.
6R is like per trade.
I don't know how to tell you. I risk 6K, make 30K at the end of the month.
Huddie is primarily win rate and systematizing, so he's really getting horrible risk score most of the time. So it's more of
what's the math you want me to do, Dub?
Divide your January by your average loser.
Oh, okay.
Am I average loser?
That's a good way to do it.
That is what your R is.
Technically, yeah.
You're
You want to do a broad way to do that? January, I made technically 67R.
Nice. Because that's also a way to look at it, which is what I think they're wondering, where you could say I make $1 million a month, but if it's only 1R, it doesn't mean anything truly. Like it's a way to kind of look at your performance. That's what they want to know, is like reasonable.
Yeah.
How much, if I'm risking $10, $20, 100, is like a decent month, a good month, an okay month?
Currently in February, I'm up 15R. So a little bit significantly less than Jay, because disclaimer, January was a very big and good month for me. Very few losers in general, so my average loss maybe is on the smaller end. I think my average loss in February is more accurate. And so what Dom just said, that's a pretty broad way to just get a very, straightforward number. But I do agree with Huddie where it depends on how you even want to track it, right? And this is why I typically don't like, I shouldn't say don't like. This is just why I don't use R all that much. If for those who have purchased my Excel guide and have looked into it, I do have a section where I do use an R-ish, like an R factor, but I
Big
don't.
R guy.
I don't live off of it, so to speak. I do like to know how much I'm actually losing or making. I actually like to know the actual value. But also depends on how you want to break it down. Like in some cases, I view it differently in the sense of, I like to, or I've always talked about the 1% rule, which is like, if you have a 10K account, each trade you should risk 1% of that account. So like when you take a loss, it should only be $100 loss, so to speak. But then you look at my average return per month on my overall money in my accounts, and I average around 11% per month. Now, is that 11R? No. But in terms of saying like, okay, if I traded with $1 million, on average, I would make $110,000 of profit per month, right? So another way to give you a different measurement that doesn't necessarily have to be an R, it's also maybe just what percent return are you getting just on your money. But it depends. I mean, some people are super, super aggressive, and also not to bash anyone in particular on Twitter. I'm not really thinking of anyone in particular on Twitter, but I don't know. I've just seen posts where someone's like plus 20R in this trade. It's like, did you really make 20 to 1 R? Like, sure you can, but like let's be real. Most trades don't even offer you 5 to 1 R.
But that's why I like when you use your average loss as when you're looking at hindsight at it. Because it's really easy once I've moved my risk up to say I made infinite R if I'm risking 0 now.
Yeah, like I wasn't going to sell, so I didn't know my R was 0.
And so I like using that because that's your performance, right? What do you lose on average and how much did you make total? Because I do think that's important to understand. Like, I want to risk 500 a trade, but my average loss is 350. Is there a takeaway there or not? Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But that's what I lose on average. And yeah, so I think it is important if it is important to you. If it's not important, then it's not important. But I think it's the level of importance is different for all people. Like Huddie's number is going to be different, and he might be happy or sad with a certain number that I might be a different level of happy or sad with.
Dom, my number is 17.3.
There you go. See, I knew it wasn't 5. That is not good enough. Like
I was doing rough math.
And I know that you don't lose 6,000 per trade, even if that's what you risk. That's why the average loss is kind of cool that Kyle does, because it factors in a lot of your scratches when you get to the end of the day on your gappers, and it's not, winning in your favor or losing too much. It's kind of scratch. So what'd you say, 17?
How do you did? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I guess I don't know. Mine's 65.
I mean, that's pretty good. That's fucking great.
Now I'm curious. Hold on. I'm going to look at my 2024. Because now you can do it at a bigger scale. Like do my entire profits of 2024.
Add them all up and divided
by average loser for 2024.
Uh-oh.
So
and then divide by 12.
Then you can divide by 12 to get So
hey, math, it's so much fun.
Total R for 2024, forgive me, was 361. That divided by 12 is 30. 30 R per month. That's where I stand. So,
what was your average loser across?
Average loser was just under 6K at 5,800. And total P&L before borrow fees was just under 2.1 million. 2,098,000, pretty much. So.
What was your 300 and something? Total? 360 or something?
360 pretty much.
That's pretty good, Jim.
Yeah, thanks. This is 30 a month.
So then our math is 20 to 30 to 1 is what is for a really high quality year.
Yeah. There you have it. It makes me curious though about like COVID, like 2020 or 2021, because that I'm sure was on crack.
Because our average losers were so small and we were making so much money.
Crazy. Real quick.
I was an all-in every day.
Very curious on this overall P&L 2020 divided by my average loser for 2020.
Wait, can I guess?
Yeah.
650.
572.
Oh.
Do you want to guess what my R was?
And it was 360 this year. 555.
1,228.
Oh,
that's crazy that was.
A quarter of that was but what's crazy is you had a better year last year, right? It's all about sizing.
And that's maybe a great way
So if you went through 2021 right now with your sizing, you would make 4 times what you did last year.
God.
$8 million.
That's pretty much 1,200 times my average loss, which is what? Let's do that real quick. Average loss times 12. We'll just round down. We'll go down to 1,200. 7 million.
That's wild.
That just shows you how insane of a market 2020 was. But yeah,
dude, that's so crazy.
Insane. The numbers any one of us was putting up in 2020 can't happen anymore with how little we were risking. It was insane. Absolutely bonkers. But time comes and goes in that regard. Markets come and go. So, but to the point of the question, this is a great question because we're going down a rabbit hole. The point is, and what Dom just said,
was there a question? Jeez, we're really off script.
Yeah, but it's all right. this is a good point, is that just because my R was more in 2020 doesn't mean I had a better year. Sure, statistically, but I made 700 grand in 2020. I made over 2 before borrow fees in 2024. So like, which year would you rather have, right? Like at the end of the day, we're here to make money. And so obviously you don't want to make 10 million if you're risking 10 million. Like obviously risk reward of a system is terrible in that sense. But like I've noticed as I've gotten bigger size over the years, my numbers don't necessarily always look more efficient, if that makes sense. So something to keep in mind.
It's interesting rabbit hole.
Yeah, great question. Let's see. How do you guys feel about trading ENVB today? I know $3 short area felt like chasing, but it worked. Where did you guys cover, or do you hold it till close? So Parker, so a joke that I constantly make with gap and craps, and those who have seen me trade gap and craps long enough know this, that in the moment when I'm chasing, it feels awful. It feels absolutely terrible. It feels ugly. It feels hideous. I feel disgusting. But the reason why I do it is because usually I'm getting short where the momentum is over and the backside is beginning. And then by the end of the day, it doesn't look so much like a chase anymore. And so to answer your question, I did cover ENVB towards the end of the day. I think I got like a 220 cover, right, towards the end of the day there. And so risk reward wise wasn't great, but was I practically up almost the entire time? Cent shorting at 3, also yes. And then, to get a nice 80-cent gain out of it, we'll take it. So. Matt says WAFU similar look to ATCH. Dom, what are you thinking?
I'm gonna make my watch list after this, so I'm trying to remember. WAFU ran yesterday, but unlike ATCH, wait, did they both? ATCH came way off its highs. That means WAFU probably did too.
Yeah.
I didn't see what that one did today though. Did it just go sideways?
Stayed red all day, but did chop around between a 30-cent range, pretty much.
I have to look at it, but if it looks similar, then it's probably something that is going to meet the criteria, because I believe it was a 500 or 600% runner, wasn't it?
Huge.
400.
Yeah, it was a big round trip, but also a big move to the upside. Yeah.
Okay. I'll let you know for sure in my watch list tonight, but probably fits criteria. But those are also my least favorite ones, are just the 1-day runners, because I feel like a lot of the shorts have opportunity to get out on day one if you get a really nice fade following it.
There you go. All right. Fran Gregory asks, Kyle Huddie, are you guys interested in bouncing Tesla or any large caps? I like how he asked me and Huddie, because he knows Dom would be like, take your large cap crap out of here.
I feel like that was not. I don't know. I have to look at a chart. I'm gonna pull up charts.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna make $1 million on gap and craps this year. I don't need anything else in my life.
Damn.
That's the facts.
Tesla. It does look like it's going lower in after hours. I'm not all jazzed about it, but as a large cap, I would feel pretty convicted at some point it would bounce. The problem is, does it give you a straight V recovery, which is always the easiest and most efficient? Or is it going to give you some like slightly awkward day where it doesn't look strong, but you have to like hold through it, and then the next day or the day after is like the actual bounce back kind of thing? So I am interested. I just don't know how interested, depending on how it works. And the problem is, the only really way to find out is to just take the trade. I will say the lower it goes, though, the more likely I think some kind of V recovery would happen, only because it's like the bigger the capitulation to the downside, probably the bigger of a bounce you get right off the bat. And it doesn't have to be this straight V back to 300 plus, but like, if we panic to 250, I'm going to feel pretty confident like there should be a 10 to 20 point bounce back to 260, 270 pretty quickly. Versus if it bounced here, it's like, well, are we choppy for a day and a half? Do we barely get over 300 by next week? It's like, I wouldn't know how I feel, but I will say 270s are coming up where the breakout was right before the election. So I am watching that level to see how well that holds. And if it even gets there, it is still about $20 away from there. So
Dom and I argue about this every day. I'm like, I want to give up everything that I've ever wanted to trade and just like put all my focus into gapping craps. I think that's like For me, that's like the mecca right now. I really don't need anything else. I just have to trade the run thing that I'm trading right now well, and I'll make boatloads of money. And sure, maybe Tesla adds a couple thousand to my bottom line, but like, do I have data? Do I know what it's going to do? Do I know which day it's going to bounce? Like, no, like I really don't. Unless it does something really crazy and like really like speeds up to the downside and goes to like the low 200s and has this like absolute capitulation day, like maybe that opens up a trade for me. But if it's going to go at the same cadence, go down, 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 like there's a day where it's going to go green and it's going to do nothing. And okay, you might make $3 a share. I don't want that to distract me from like my main business objective. I'm not trying to like, I don't know. For me, I'm not trying to trade large caps. I'm just trying to do the thing that's making me money. Like focus, right?
Yeah, I feel like I'm more likely to take that trade than Huddie, and I feel a little offended that Fran Gregory didn't include me,
Didn't
but
include
included Huddie. I'm like, we can't get Huddie to buy a freaking
Fannie
big
Mae this morning.
breakout, but we're gonna get him to buy Tesla after like 3 red days.
No chance.
I don't. Yeah, even if it went to low 200s, I was thinking there's no way Huddie buys this.
Low 200s would interest me. That for sure would interest
For
me.
like an investment,
Crazy.
not for like a day trade.
Yeah, I would just put 50K into it and see what happens.
Close your eyes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mr. Kellogg,
It's not for me.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh,
I-
Steve.
I can hear you.
Great.
Can you hear
I
us?
can hear you guys too. Yeah.
There we
All
go.
Good.
How we doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Well, thanks for joining us here, short notice. I feel you were passionate to talk about your R. Do you have any thoughts on the R related question before we move
You
on to the
should be
next couple?
making 50R a month.
That's what he said.
I think 50R is a good number. If you break it down weekly, that's roughly 10R a week. So if you're making, that's 5 good trades a week, and then just minimizing your losers. I don't know. I feel like you should be making over 20 and under 70, somewhere in that range. I think it's a good consistent month. Depending on what strategies you have, though.
I still think it's strategy dependent, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, aggressive. Not only strategy, but just trader risk adversity or attraction. Like you can get a guy who's up 300R, but he's going to risk a blow up next month.
AKA Mad As.
Well, it depends. Yeah, just also, so what you said, Jack, too. It's like if you what's it called? If you don't avoid big losses, your R's are gonna, one bad loss can wipe all your R's. You could be negative R. So
Well, it makes your R go bigger.
that too, yeah. But you can't have a positive R if you're losing on the month. So
Hey, but Jack,
That aspect,
121R this month is thick.
No, 121R on the year.
On the year. That's amazing.
That's why I said 50.
You've been killing it. Just picking your spots correctly. Hey.
I've been doing good this year so far. I made a lot of really stupid mistakes that I could have done better on. There's a lot of little things that I'm working on that I've been studying that would move my bottom line significantly. Really, the few things that I can think about right now, which I don't think you guys have a problem with, but I seem to struggle with it a little bit, is I'm in a really good position. Pretty much like huge position size, trades working perfect, and then all of a sudden I just get out, and then I get in on the other side because I think that it went too high or too low in one direction, and then I end up taking a loss. And the original thesis is correct. And I've done that a couple of times this year, whether it was on BBAI, whether it was on Fannie Mae, whether it was on the Bitcoin short this week. And it's the same mistake I keep making over and over again. And
So are you saying your mistake is that say you're long something and then you get short and lose money, or you don't get short and you miss out on money?
no, I'm saying I'm long, or I'm saying I'm long, I take the long off for a win, and then I go short, and then it doesn't work, and I either like make small, lose small, or win small. But if I just had held the trade till end of day or till the next day, it would have been much bigger.
So your timing's off on the secondary idea.
my timing's off on the secondary idea, and I just need to hold my positions longer. And it's actually something I was talking about with a friend. Um, I'll share it with you guys. But basically, for you guys who don't know, Josh Cherniak, I don't know if you guys know him.
Mhm.
He's one of Nate's buddies, and he's in IU. But basically, his father traded with Steve Cohen. Steve Cohen is one of the best day traders of all time. And one of my friends was talking to Steve, and basically what he said was everybody in Steve's firm, they all had the same trade theses as Steve. They all had the same things. And basically the only thing that Steve did different from a lot of other traders at the firm is when he would pick a spot and he would be in a good spot, he would just hold 75 to 95% of his position versus the other guys would just sell intraday. And he would just hold 75 to 95% for 2 to 4 days. And he was just making so much more money than a lot of these other people. And I think it's a good example too of kind of what Lucas is doing right now too. He's been fucking murdering it this year. And for example, PLTR, you shorted PLTR at 120s, you're going to be inclined to take it off at 108, 100, 95. But if you can hold it down to the mid 80s, you're making a boatload of more money.
Way more.
Same thing with the Bitcoin short. If you shorted Bitcoin into 90, 93, 95K, and it starts to go down, you're going to be very inclined to take that off at 85, 86, 87K, and then it hits, low 80s the next day. So for me, that's what I'm really working on. And it does play a role in small caps too, but obviously it's not as big of a role as in mid caps. BBAI was the same thing. If you're able to buy it at 5 and you hold it for 2 to 4 more days, instead of selling it in the mid 6s or 7, you're selling
You sold
it towards
some so early.
Yeah, you're selling it towards 9, 10, 8. You know what I mean? So that's really what I'm working on personally right now, is because reviewing my things right now, like I've had some fucking big trades this year, and they could have been even that much bigger if I just held and did nothing. If I just sat and did nothing, my trades would have been 3, 4, 5 times what I made this year already, which is insane to think about. But sometimes the best thing you can do is literally nothing. Don't do anything. Just let it work.
The trend
I
is your
feel like-
friend right there.
I feel
That's
like
what I
for the
got out of
last
that.
year or so with you, Jack, like, do you think maybe it's just that you like feel like you need to be trading, you need to be clicking buttons? Because I have noticed that I feel like way back in the day, you used to have no problem being patient on big breakouts and stuff like that. And now I have noticed that you are kind of switching bias more often. Do you think that you just get in the habit of doing that and you're telling yourself that you're just going to take a little move here, a little move there, and then you're just kind of forgetting about the big bias that you had to begin with, and it's costing you that big extra, 20, 30, 40, 50% at the end of the day by switching bias in the moment because it's having its first pullback, it broke a trend line, whatever it is?
Yeah, I think it's hard to kind of make the switch right now, but I think my trading objectives in 2022, 2023, and early 2024 were more, scalpy. Like I was working on other things in life, and I didn't, I just wanted to lock in the quick single and be low stress, and didn't really want to fuck around. But now I've kind of changed my trading approach, and I'm going for bigger trades again, like I kind of was at the beginning. So for me now, it's kind of trying to figure out how to get back to the bigger ideas. So yeah, we'll see. And it's a good example too of like the small cap shorts. Like you can short something and of course it pulls back 10, 20%, but sometimes it's going to fade all the way down to, 50, 60, 70% down. So it's really shooting yourself in the foot if you don't have that patience for the bigger move. And I think that as of recently, the last several months, since maybe like October, it's been way better to just hold winning positions. And whether that's shorts, whether that's longs. And maybe this is the top of that market quote unquote, and we're going to get back to really more shorter term trends, and everything's kind of goes a little with the trend and then just completely reverses. But as of right now, everything in the market is having a big trend.
There we go.
What are some of the opportunities that would give you conviction that what are some of the criteria that you want to be more patient with? Like, build me the dream scenario type of thing. Like, is it just as simple as volume, catalyst, sector, the right market environment? Or is it specific patterns that you're looking at?
I think it has to be stocks that are building for a while. I think that's the main thing for me. Not talking about like the gapping traps and stuff like that, but it has to be patterns that are building for a while, like building a range for months or weeks, like something like Fannie Mae when it broke out over the threes, something like
BBAI for months,
BBAI,
higher
something like
lows.
the Bitcoin short, something like no. A bunch of those are the first ones that come to my mind, but those have been my biggest trades so far this year. Fannie Mae, BBAI, the Bitcoin short.
Are you long
And
Biddy?
no, I was long MYSV or MSTZ or something. Yeah, MSTZ on Friday, in the 19s, and then it went up to this one I didn't do too bad on. I didn't sell any on 224. I sold the rest on the gap up yesterday, but I didn't wait for the push. I sold it also prematurely. But it's really just these big trends that are setting up, man. And I've realized this is the way to make big money, is these big charts that take weeks and months of consolidation and trading volume. And we had a lot of really good trades too. Like for example, MSTR, that breakout in October. I know Kyle did good on that one. That short also in November. The SMCI short in February last year, just stuff like that. You could even make a case of the SMCI short at 65 if you just waited 4 days. You just wait 2 to 4 days. That's it.
Like,
Yeah,
why go
Paul
searching for
Amagi, I
something
mean,
else?
if you look at what he did, if you look at what a lot of these guys who made 9 figures have done, it's all just loading up on these big charts and then just waiting. That's it. Same thing you could have done with SOUN too.
Yeah,
SOUN
right.
is fucking phenomenal, and
Wow.
so
Look where that one is today.
even that Soundhound trend break too. Like Soundhound didn't really get bearish till January 3rd, January 6th, January 7th. Even if you shorted that move towards the 20s, you could have been covering down in the 12s if you waited 4 days. Just wait 4 days. That's all you have to do. If you get the right entry and it starts working.
I love that. I like patience. It's fun.
Yeah. So I'm trying to work on that shit. Last year I worked on, I was having a problem of taking a loss after I'd have a big win. So I've worked on that and I've kind of gotten that down, but now it's a different form of it, is just not holding my positions. So yeah.
Beautiful. All right. Okay, some more questions here. Let's see. Euros asks, is there a locate cost fee percent-wise when you're looking to avoid taking a short or taking it overnight on a stock you would otherwise short? Not sure if there's a correct answer here. I'll just tell you what I do. I typically don't like to locate more than 2% of the stock's price. That's not a hard rule, because today I certainly did that with some of the gappers because the borrows were super expensive. But in general, I start getting a little skittish on whether I'm actually going to borrow something when it starts entering the 1 to 2% range. And then the actual overnight cost percent-wise when taking a short overnight, that depends on how big of a gap down or a gap up, or no, not gap up, doesn't matter. How big of a gap down I think a stock can have. But if you're going to charge, or if the overnight rate is like 3, 4, 500%, it's probably not worth it. in most cases, but anything under that, it's reasonable, if that makes sense. Anyways,
It's tough. It really depends on, again, kind of like setup by setup, but like I'm willing to go up to 5 or 10% of the total stock price, but past 10%, yeah, past 10%, it's like whoa. like I was shitting on Mullen all day today because I was like, dude, like what Centerpoint was quoting me was $1.97, and the stock was $4, and I was like, this thing has to drop 50% for me to break even.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
That's
like,
over 10% there for that fee.
Yeah. But like if it's a $3 stock and the locates are 10 cents and it's going to drop $1, like I'll take that. I will. I don't care. Money's money.
This might be a question for you, Kellogg, only because I know you're maybe a little bit more in tune with some indicators that Dom, Huddie, and I don't really care about. But Anthony asks, have you guys heard of anyone having edge in small caps using MACD, RSI, and the 920 EMA? He said, I've found success in large cap with these indicators, but want to try in small caps, but I have PTSD. Interested, Anthony, why you have what do you have PTSD from? From just losing in small caps using those indicators? Yeah, and I direct it to you, Kellogg, because for your answer, Anthony, I don't think Dom or Huddie or I have ever I don't even know how to open MACD on my chart. I don't even know how to open
Is that
RSI.
like Apple?
What's up?
Apple something?
What's that? What do you mean, Apple stock?
You're saying Mac something.
MACD.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
It's an indicator.
I have heard on the waiver wire that RSI
You
is something.
always use that term, and it gets more and more away from what
I
it is
miss
every
football.
time.
Someone misses fantasy.
Bro, I just want it to start again. April.
What did you see in the waiver wire?
RSI, there is some there can be some truth to it. I have never looked into it, but I know some people do it.
For me, it's the EMA, the 9, the 10, the 20, 21, whatever it is. Sometimes on highly manipulated stocks on the EMAs, you can see where the algo is buying. For example, I'll share one trade in the Clover room where you can see I had the 9 EMA on the 5-minute chart, and you could kind of just see that the algo was kind of buying the dip in a sense towards the EMA line. And this doesn't work on every stock, but if you put the EMA on and you kind of scan through the different time frames, and this is only going to work on algo manipulated super high volume stocks, you can kind of see where the algo is buying. I talked to a big trader about it, and he is using them as well, and it just depends if you can notice where the algo is on it. So you can look at the 10 EMA too on Mullen today, or sorry, yeah, the 10 EMA on Mullen on the 15-minute chart. You can see that that's kind of where the algo was buying on that one today, but once it cracked that EMA line, that's when it stopped really doing anything. So it can be a good way to kind of trail your stop or to sell once it gets extended away from the EMA. And it's just another guide.
Boom. All right. Interesting.
What do they mean? What does like 9 mean versus 10 or 20 or?
It's the 10-day average.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like periods of time.
So wouldn't the goal be just to use whatever one the most people are using?
Yeah, the 9 or the 10 or the 20 or the 21, because that's going to give you 2 or 3 weeks, right, of market days.
Yeah.
But isn't, Kellogg, if you go to the intraday, isn't that then 9 or 10 minutes, right? It goes down to the time frame you're looking on.
Yeah, it goes down to the time frame you're looking on based on what time you select.
There you go. Okay, makes sense.
Okay.
So something to look into. I don't think it's the holy grail by any sense.
Yeah.
No, but I know a lot of system traders that do like kind of look for breakdowns on those EMAs. So there's some logic there.
Yeah, exactly. can almost be another sense of the gapping craps if you can identify the
Totally.
EMAs and then kind of add that into some support cracks and stuff. You could maybe increase your odds by a little bit.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big Bollinger Band, Ichimoku Cloud, and Greed and Fear Index kind of guy. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big guy, big cloud fan. That was sarcasm, chat. But anyways, S-Trade says, do you guys think it's easier to make money trading stocks or trading futures like NQ? S-Trade, I think you're asking the wrong group of guys. I don't think, again, back to Kellogg, I think Kellogg, if I had to guess, I think there's a 2% chance Kellogg has traded futures, and there's a 0% chance Huddie, Dom, and I have ever even, I haven't even looked.
I've never even bought a crypto.
Yeah. Like, I haven't even ventured off to even think about how I would trade futures. I am an infant in the dark completely when it comes to that regard. So we might not be the group for you. I'm curious though, Kellogg, if you've even ventured to think about it or done it secretly.
Futures, no, I haven't made any trades on futures, but Lance's trade last year, that $10 million trade that he had
on Japan, yeah.
The Japans.
On Japan and on the market crash. Yeah, the Japan carry trade.
The Nikkei.
He bought everything on the futures market. So it's something that I'm interested in, definitely. But I think for me, what I'm trying to learn this year too a little bit is options, before I learn futures. So
Big SPY trade on Friday.
Options are fun.
yeah, that was a
Nobody
good
likes
one.
options.
Yeah, they're fun.
Been looking into also selling calls, selling puts. I think that's a really good strategy for me here coming into the summer. Just takes up a lot of capital, but something that I fucked up on was RGTI. Instead of trying to trade the stock, shorting it for that 2-week period in late January and early February, if you just sold calls, $20 calls, $21, $22, $24 calls, not huge size by any means, but if you sold maybe like 50 grand worth on different spread, you could just be collecting 50 grand into their expiration. And I think it's a great way to short bounces on supernovas that you don't think are going to come back after they go on some type of crazy, insane run. Of course, it's all about avoiding shorting the calls on the front side, because if you short the calls on the front side, you're going to get blown out. But if you wait till some type of crazy parabolic and then just some sideways chop, most of the time it's hard to catch that chop down because of how slow it is. But if you just sell the calls at a very high price and just let them expire worthless, it's a much better way to alleviate your FOMO from missing that bounce short and also stay away from the stock. So that's kind of what I'm looking into. And then, yeah, looking into some zero DTEs as well, because of what we learned on SMCI last year of how crazy that trade was. Even if we have one trade like that per year, I want to be ready for that when the stars align.
Yep.
Because that's potential really, really, really big move. And options don't really require that much capital either, especially if you're doing some zero DTE stuff. So I like options, trying to learn as much as I can.
Sweet. All right, last few questions here before we close it out. Let's see. I already know the answer to this one that everyone's going to pretty much say, but Most Viral asks, do you guys when do you guys add to your positions? Is it more of a system or discretionary? For example, if you guys want 10K shares, how do you go and buy in even chunks or go all in at once? What factors into this? What do you guys think? It's very case by case.
Kind of discretionarily a system, eh?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't usually have I don't know. You go, Kyle.
my brain goes, it just depends on the setup you have, right? Like, so, and it depends on your style. Like for me, my style on Gappa Craps, there is no sizing in. It is all in one. It is a one entry, one exit kind of deal. If it's a first red day, there's typically, I would guess, somewhere in the 3 to 4 range of entries. Just because I'm adding into what I think is confirmation of more likely the trade is to be right. It just depends on your style, on your system, and what you think works for you. There's no one real right answer. It's very dependent on the style that works for you and then the setup that you have in front of you. Like even breakouts, I'm rarely adding to breakouts. It's like if the stock's breaking out at the breakout level, I want full size right away. There's no point in waiting for me. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, a lot of different factors affect it, but I rarely ever go like, oh, I want 10K shares of that. It's more of how many shares can I get at the entry that I like, based on where my risk level is. Everything in terms of sizing is based off where my risk level is. But I have times where it's really a lot, very discretionary. Like if I'm in a breakout and I know I want more size because I'm moving my risk up and I don't have necessarily a real good reason for why I'm buying where I am. I just like the price and I know I'm moving risk up, so I need to get more size. And then there's more systematic entries that I have for, red green moves on first green days, 5-minute high breaks. That's more, it's not necessarily system because I click the buttons, but, I enter in some areas I don't necessarily love just because I've done a little bit of data and it seems to be the most consistent entry. So it's usually case by case, but some patterns, shorting first red days, shorting a green to red move. That's a systematized, I guess, type of entry. But it's usually all in one. Once I know I want to be in it, I risk my max amount or my full amount.
Yeah. I think most traders aren't big enough to really have to like buy chunks. Like for most traders here in this room, you can probably go like take your size at once, unless you're like trying to buy like 2, 3, 400,000 shares. That gets different. But if you're trying to buy 10K, like you can probably like what's the difference? Like what are you waiting for?
Yeah. Okay. Question about PRCH, about a breakout. That kind of chart is not something I think any of us
trust you.
particularly like. What's up?
I trust you then.
It looks like more of a legit breakout, which I guess is nothing wrong with legit breakout, but it's not our small cap style of breakouts, so to speak. It's also already up. It's already broken out. So even if we wanted to play it, we would be chasing if we bought it up here. So probably not of interest to us. Trying to scanning through all the questions here.
Hey guys, we're back.
Drummer Max talks about I don't know if he's talking about to Kellogg. I feel like he is. He's probably he could be talking to me too, because we both had the same trade. The CVNA trade. Kellogg, the long.
Yeah.
Was that last year, 2023?
That was 2023. That was crazy.
Hold for 2 to 4. Hold for longer.
Yeah. Forget 2 to 4 days. 2 to 4 years.
2 or a week.
4 years,
Months?
and I couldn't.
Oh,
I'd be up. I had 175,000 shares at 10.
Jesus. I had way less than that, but it would be a lot. It'd be a lot more money.
That's a crazy
Would have
chart.
been
Yeah,
up
I think I
like
had
50 million.
Jeez, I think I had like 10,000 shares. It'd be, I don't know, upwards of a few 100,000, maybe a million.
You'd be up to something, two, almost 3.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's freaking crazy chart.
Insane. Someone says I have a BTC lamp behind me, Kyle. Yes, I do. I do. I don't trade crypto, but I own plenty of it. Arguably too much.
I don't trade crypto. I am crypto.
I am Bitcoin. What are you talking about?
How low do you think the dip's gonna go? 75?
Yeah, I think the breakout would be worst case. That's if like no bad news comes out. If something like awful comes out, then I mean, yeah, we can go back down to 50. But like, I don't know, the whole pullback and just everything, like whether it's Tesla, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Fannie Mae, it's all, or DXYZ, all of the Trump related assets that went up after his election that are coming back down. I haven't really seen a reasoning, right? I mean, obviously there's smaller reasons and everyone's on the same sentiment shift, But I find it very interesting, and like it's a good learning experience of like how that shift played out over, like you said, Jack, like weeks. Because in terms of, if you just ignore the technicals and the emotion and the sentiment, it's like from fundamentally nothing has changed, right? At least in crypto. I can't speak for like other assets, right? But for Bitcoin specifically. So it's always just funny how sentiment plays such a big role in as the passage of time kind of plays out, because I'm thinking 75 worst case, but then again, I'm also thinking like once this sell-off or sentiment shifts right back to something else, because no sentiment lasts forever, I have a hard time thinking we're just gonna chill at 80K for 3 months. Like I would if I was a betting man, I would guess we recover back towards 90, if not higher, pretty quickly, just because there's no negative news driving this down. It's just maybe a relief pull that we were due for weeks by now. But it's not like, back in 2021, China came out saying they're banning mining, and then Bitcoin pulled back 50%, and then it stayed down there for a month. Like that makes sense. So it's terrible news. But I haven't seen any. If anything, I've seen positive news. I've seen incredibly bullish news, but like the market doesn't care about good news when sentiment is bad. So, so to answer your question, Jack, I think 75, but I wouldn't be shocked if it bottoms. I have a chart of it on my left here. I wouldn't be shocked if the bottom's in right now. I can go either way. So we'll see. If you guys see any last questions you want to answer, feel free to. I'm just kind of scrolling through. We kind of are up at our time, but if you want to answer one or two more, if any of you guys you like.
I'm looking, Kyle.
This is a good question because we were just talking about Bitcoin. Jack, what was your indicator to get short BTC? You were looking for a specific trend or breakdown, shorting into strength, anticipating lower high, etc. Question mark. Did you have any indicators?
Really the main thesis on Bitcoin short for me was, I remember the day pretty vividly. I bought MSTR on 123.25, and it looked like it was kind of curling back to its highs. And there is positive news out about Trump put somebody into office for crypto. And I was like, oh, sick. Like, here we go. This looks like it's gearing back up for highs. Pulled back big, 540 to 300, whatever. Now we're gearing back up. And then that move completely stuffed. And then the next day it dropped. And then didn't actually short Bitcoin. I shorted MSTR. And then I just noticed that it just kept go. Every time it looked like it was going to go back up, even for example, had a little hammer on 213, and then it had a green day 214. Every time you wanted to buy, that was the top before a lower trend. So it's the same thing if you think about a bottoming price action. It's when negative news comes out and it looks like it's going to go lower, and then it holds. And then another time it looks like it's going to go lower and it holds again. So it's the same thing, but flip it upside down. And it just felt like all this positive news was coming out, but Bitcoin wasn't moving. So that was my main indication to get short. And then it was just kind of all about waiting till it made sense. And it made sense to me when MSTR on Friday had a big red day, closing at 300, going over the weekend, which is a breakout if you flip the chart upside down. So it's a breakdown. And then it just waterfalled 300 to 250. So it's 50 points in a couple of days. It's pretty good, especially playing the leverage product. It mainly was just the news thing, man. Just positive news comes out and it goes lower. And if you think about what bottomed Bitcoin too, which was I was talking about to Ariel about this at the Traders for a Cause in New Hampshire last week. Bitcoin bottomed when Sam Bankman-Fried and all this shit was going on, and the worst news ever was out, right? And it's kind of the same thing towards the top. Also flip that upside down. All this positive news is coming out. And the news was really that positive. We should have broke out and continued going higher like we did over 75K when it looked like Trump was going to get in office, because the market always looks forward. So we had a forward-looking catalyst with Trump as he was potentially going to win the presidency. Bitcoin looked stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, and it held its gains. And now there's just not much more positive looking, or it's just overbought, and there's just not many more positive looking catalysts out for right now that people are excited about, I guess. So we're just pulling back because it was overbought.
Yeah. And maybe you said it better than I could earlier, which is like sentiment in the short term overrules any news that will affect it long term. Because that's to your point. That's exactly actually why I started buying Bitcoin on like a daily DCA back in 2022. Because like if there was a time to get in, it was a time when the most negative news could possibly come out. That it's negative for the firm or the company that's related to Bitcoin, but not Bitcoin itself, right? Like the thesis or the technology of Bitcoin itself had always been the same. But it's FTX that comes out and is like, we're insolvent, and like the market just gets nuked. Like that's your inefficiency right there. And because it couldn't go much lower, it's like clearly everyone kind of, maybe not everyone, but people who sniffed that out, you know, kind of saw that coming through. And then now when we look back years later, that's why it's the bottom, you know, or vice versa, like Jack said.
It's the same thing during the market crash in 2020 when who was that fucker that came on the news and he said fucking sell everything, and then he was secretly buying?
Bill Ackman?
Who was that?
Ackerman.
Bill Ackman.
Yeah.
It's the same shit. It happens again. It happens time and time again. Bottoms are created from max fear and tops are created from max euphoria. It's just human emotion. Human emotion is never going to go away. It's the same thing. These motherfuckers were doing 100K Bitcoin live streams on Twitter. 100K live stream, it breaks over 100K. Then 2 weeks later goes below it, and then they put the live stream back out. It's a watching party for when it breaks 100K.
Watch it when it breaks 100K again.
Then we had the Trump meme coins. And we had Courtney's meme coin. This shit is all what happens at the top of a market.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Bitcoin is personally going to ramp all the way back up and continue going higher. I think it's going to need a long consolidation phase. I don't think it's going to tank either. I don't think we're going to be trading down in the 40s, 50s, maybe 60s, but I think it's going to be consolidation period. And then we're going to wait and see what forward-looking news comes out next for the next cycle.
Yeah. That's one thing that before I say this last thing, let me close it out. But to your point, Kel, like I remember when Trump released his meme coin, and I had a slight like voice in my head, and I just really wish I listened to it, because that would have saved me a lot of money. And I just threw it out. But I was like, man, like just a little slight thought was like, this isn't good. Like I couldn't articulate why it wasn't good. But I had that gut feeling. I'm like, this isn't healthy. And unfortunately, I didn't take that and be like, what do I do about it? Which would be then sell off some like meme coins or some other crypto trades that I had at the time. But yeah, stuff like that that's not a sign of a market that typically would go higher, so to speak. So, anyways,
look what happened with Solana, man. Solana got fucking murked. What,
murdered.
50% down?
Yeah.
And I was reading online that they just unlocked 2 bill of dilution. So
Lovely.
I don't know how Solana's futures is going to be. You have to also remember Solana isn't really it wasn't a $250 stock. That thing got murdered all the way back down to $8 and then ran all the way back to 300.
Yeah,
so
crazy.
Even at like 130, it's not like this thing can still theoretically dump a lot more. The crypto that I'm still mostly interested in besides Bitcoin is Ethereum. I think Ethereum has survived a lot throughout the years, and it really has this consolidation on Ethereum, like that next break of like 3.5K, 4K, like that should be a double.
Yeah, that's a big
when it comes.
To your point, what you said earlier, like big building daily charts. That's a big chart. Like if that gets
That's a
over
big
4,
chart.
That's a big chart.
And also, the politicians are just as bullish on Ethereum as they are in Bitcoin, it seems, based on a lot of news flow that's come out. What do you think, Kyle?
Yeah, I've seen that too. I don't know. Again, short term, I don't think it matters just because sentiment's in the trash. But yeah, if you're more of a longer term outlook, I think things will look brighter than they are today. Let's put it that way. So.
I do think Ethereum is more stable than most.
Yeah, Ethereum is where I want to. If I had to pick one crypto right now, it would be Ethereum. for a longer term hold, but I'm not really doing anything about it right now. I do have some Ethereum from a few years ago. It's pretty much back down to my average right now. But that next, when I think it stabilizes and the sentiment shifting again, I'm probably going to add to that one. Bitcoin, I'm just going to continue to hold, not really do anything with that. But yeah.
Cool.
Well, it's been a fun stream, guys.
Yes. Everyone thank Kellogg for stopping by randomly. It wasn't planned. He came here on his own love for the game, so to speak. Love for Dom. More,
Go Ducks.
Ducks.
I put my hand
Go
up in
Ducks.
solidarity, but I didn't know what I was agreeing to.
It was like, right. Well, okay, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, chat.
It's
Thanks for-
8:22.
Yeah, long, little extra stream, little extra minutes for you today. But thanks for coming in with some great questions. The Kellogg, thanks for tuning in and joining and dropping some wisdom for everybody today. And have a great Wednesday night. And as always, the link up top, pinned link for boot camp, or for the Los Angeles boot camp. Get your tickets in the next couple of weeks before we go live and are there. And then webinar for 4 Leafs tomorrow with me at 11 Eastern. And then always Good Morning NASDAQ, 8:45 Eastern, back on the YouTube channel. So we'll see you guys then. Peace out, everybody.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Have a great night. Bye.